finance, but make it fun, of course. Hey, on this episode of This Is Investing, I am joined by a fellow personal finance creator, author, developer, we'll say now, Queenie Tan. You may know her, Invest with Queenie on Instagram. Welcome to This Is Investing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, your book, The Fun Finance Formula, we've recently done a full deep dive episode about that. If you are new to This Is Investing and you are listening to it, every episode, it is brought to you by The Quick Start Guide to Investing, my book about investing. But if you're going to grab a copy of The Quick Start Guide to Investing, grab a copy of Queenie's book, and we'll put links in the comments, The Fun Finance Formula. And read both of them. Read Queenie's first. That will help because there's a lot of mindset stuff in there about personal finances. But otherwise, as you know, if you are a regular, I asked the same type of questions to my guests just to really see if we get a baseline reference point. Queenie, what makes a successful investor in your mind?
A successful investor, I think somebody that just loves it or enjoys it. Because there's this quote from Richard Branson, which I think summarizes it. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. And I completely agree. There are so many different things you can invest in, and you've just got to pick one that you really enjoy investing in and something that you enjoy. Because if you don't enjoy it, what's the point? There are all these other investments that you could be making that you would enjoy. Yeah,
interesting. Super or non-super investing, and why?
I personally invest outside of my super because I'm in my late 20s. I have quite a bit of time before I reach the 65 retirement age. So, that's the reason why I invest outside of super. Although I would say probably when I get to my 40s, I will start topping up my super for sure because I feel like at that age, then I'm it just would make a bit more sense for me to do that. Yeah.
Cool. If you had extra money in your life each month, would you pay extra down on your mortgage or invest it?
Invest it, for sure, yeah.
Why is that?
Well, interest rates are pretty high at the moment. So I was a bit curious about, should I just be leaving it in my offset account? Should I be investing it? I guess for the type of person that I am, I genuinely just enjoy investing. And I don't know, it just makes me feel happy each month knowing that some of my pay is automatically invested. So I would probably just set that up. I'd have done the maths based on, an 8% return that I could potentially get with my investing. Would that be better than, say, leaving it in an offset account that gets say 4.5%? I'm saving 4.5% interest. Even with the tax that I would potentially need to pay on the 8% returns compounded, I still think it would be a better idea for me to invest. But that being said, I also genuinely enjoy investing, whereas some people might not like it and they might prefer to just save it.
Awesome. What do you reckon the biggest barrier that stops people getting invested or getting started?
I think the biggest barrier is that they don't relate to the people that they see promoting different investments, like we were talking in the other podcast about the crypto bros or the finance bros, and you might feel if you're not
if you're not one of the bros,
exactly,
it's not for me.
Yeah. It's is it really
so
for me?
It's a stigma thing.
I think so. And I just want to remind people money is neutral. There is no money gender. There's no money specific person that can be good with money. Anyone can be good with money. And maybe just have a look at a few different investments, see which one sparks your interest,
My next question, do you have to be smart to be good with money?
No. I don't think so. I think, like we mentioned, it's probably more of I feel like you have to be smart in a different way, not in the maths genius kind of smart, but more in a behaviorally smart, if that makes sense. You've got to know yourself.
Probably be quote unquote dumb, but I think everyone's got unique intellects in smartness in different areas. But I think the other thing don't do dumb stuff with money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Hey, what is your definition of success and have you made it?
Definition of success. I would say somebody who isn't just happy in one area, but happy across multiple different areas.
But no, your personal definition of success. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy in like all areas of life. I mean, the financial, spiritual, relationships, like career, just life, health, those sorts of things. Like, of course, I think there are some areas where I definitely could improve. For example, I feel like I do need to set more time to see my friends and family and those sorts of things. But I don't think that I'm fully neglecting those areas, which is good. Yeah, I would say just feeling like I am and my life has meaning and purpose. And I do think I have reached that.
Yeah,
which is nice.
awesome. Well, we've got a successful person here, everyone.
Yay!
If you had a spare $10,000 today, what would you do with it and why?
$10,000. Okay, so if you asked me a few years ago, I would have put $10,000 like and just invested the whole thing straight away. Now I would probably split it in half. So $5,000 I would invest straight away, and the other $5,000 I might use it for, say, like a bit into my daughter's investment account, maybe a bit into my wedding fund, having a wedding next year, so maybe set aside a bit of money, I don't know, to pay for things, or even like give guests another cool experience or something like that. Or even like set aside a bit of money to spend on a holiday or something like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What has been your best investment to date?
Best investment? Ooh. I think financially it has been my apartment. So I initially bought a 2-bedroom apartment in Sydney, a very old apartment, ugly from the outside, but we renovated the inside. So now it's being rented out as an investment property. And I think in terms of like capital growth, it has done quite well. So I bought it for $500,000 and we got it valued by the bank and it's worth $720,000 in a few years, which is pretty good for an apartment especially.
Yeah.
So I think that one's done pretty well. But then non-financial investment, I guess probably in myself, in the business, you know. I think that it's good to invest in yourself.
Love it. 2 questions remaining. Are you enjoying this or are you scared?
Oh, I love it. I think it's good. Yeah.
What are you currently reading or listening to?
Oh, I'm listening to The E-Myth.
Oh, Gerber.
Yeah.
Is it Gerber?
I'm not sure who the author is, but it's really good. Yeah.
It's one of those classic 101. Michael Gerber. Yep.
Yeah.
I lost the next question. And final question, if there was one book people should read to be a better investor, what would that be?
Your book. Your book, obviously.
Stop it. Well, no, not so obvious.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. Other than the Quick Start Guide to Investing, has there been any other standout money books or any other mindset book or business book that you've read that you just recommend to anyone?
I feel like there are so many that are just really good and they might touch you at different points in your life that you're like, oh, this really resonates with me at this point in my life. I think one that really resonated was Die with Zero. I think at that season I was just coming out of the super frugal season of my life where I was saving all of my money and not really enjoying it as much as I could. And I think reading that book, it was kind of what I was already thinking anyway, but it kind of just reaffirmed my beliefs that it's okay to spend a bit of money. Once you've reached a certain point, what's the point in saving more, you know?
I forgot to ask you on the other podcast a question about frugal Queenie.
Oh, yes.
Now, don't be offended.
Yes.
Last time we caught up in Sydney, you, me and Pablo, someone else was there with me. Was there? I forget. Oh, Sarah from New Zealand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
One Up Project. Hey, Sarah. When we ordered a coffee, you probably don't remember this, but I've always remembered and thought about it. Because 1, I think it was weird, but 2, there might be a reason. You both shared a cappuccino.
We still do that, actually.
Okay.
We still do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it, and I honestly don't care, is it we won't drink a full one ourselves or it's cheap and we're frugal tired asses?
Yes, I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. Yeah, I still have this hangover of like being worried about spending on coffee, to be honest. I still do.
Now, is Pablo a frugalite as well, or did he get sucked into your world?
No, he is. He was raised by a single mom in Paris, and she has her own business like repairing flutes. But yeah, money wasn't always like abundant. There were times when money was tight, but she did an amazing job of like managing the household. So I feel like Pablo definitely does have that frugalness in him as well. We kind of have to catch ourselves from being too stingy, because sometimes we are too stingy. We're really
I've never seen a couple share a cappuccino before, and I'm not going to judge. I'll wait and judge you live on a podcast. So
yes.
Look, that's... knock yourself out.
Yeah, exactly.
And hey, if that works for you guys, you're happy, you both tick the box, you both scratch the itch, we're having a coffee together.
But it's half a coffee. Yeah, exactly. It's half a coffee. Yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for joining me on This Is Investing. Remember, if you want Queenie's book, The Fun Finance Formula, you can grab it. There'll be a link in the show notes. Queenie Tan, follow her on Instagram, Invest with Queenie. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Any advice is general financial advice only, which does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Because of that, you should consider if the advice is appropriate to you and your needs before acting on the information. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the Product Disclosure Statement, PDS, and Target Market Determination, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored to your needs. Simo Interactive Pty Ltd, the publisher of this podcast, and Glen James are authorised representatives of Money Sherpa Pty Ltd, which holds financial services license 451289. Opinions or comments from any guests on the podcast are theirs and not those of the host or the publisher or their respective license holders.